I want you to imagine the foods that you love. What sort of feelings do you feel? Nostalgia? Maybe you're taken back to a moment in your life where you had that food, and a plethora of pleasant memories come back to you. Or perhaps it just makes you happy. Who would not be happy after having their favorite foods or snacks? Although there may be some overlap between favorite foods and comfort foods, the latter are foods that evoke some sort of positive emotion. Comfort foods are extremely important to your daily life as they can improve your mental state, and learning to make your own comfort food is a valuable skill that could be your gateway into home cooking. Do comfort foods actually improve your mental state? There seem to be a lot of differing opinions on the actual science behind comfort food, particularly whether or not eating comfort foods actually produces happy chemicals in our brain. Some think it's a complete myth, but others disagree. In a study by Wortman et al., they found that when you eat a carbohydrate heavy snack or meal, the creation of serotonin, one of the prime happy chemicals in our brain, can increase. This phenomenon would explain why many around the world can never give up carbs, present company included. If that isn't enough evidence for you that comfort foods are staples in times of great stress, look to the United States during the Great Depression. In 1937, Kraft introduced its famous blue box macaroni and cheese. The mac and cheese was priced at 19 cents a box, and in its first year sold over $1 million worth of it, which is an insane dollar amount for that era. And even now in 2023, there are still millions of people who view the famous blue box as a staple comfort food. For a more modern example, Pillsbury shared research data on foods consumed during the pandemic in 2020. They found that 28% of Americans were consuming more baked goods than normal, and 82% of those stated they were doing so to get a sense of comfort or induce happiness. To me, comfort food and its psychological benefits seem to be anything but a myth. Now, not all comfort food has to be carbohydrate dense, like Pillsbury products or Kraft mac and cheese. You might have associated a few memories with a particular food. In the backing video, you'll see me preparing and cooking a Chinese staple, tomato and egg. For me, this is one of my go-to comfort foods, not just because I can eat a lot of rice with it, but more so of the memories that come flooding back when I have it. As a kid, my mom and I would have this dish very often, and it was one of the first dishes my mom showed me how to cook. I remember being in awe of how delicious something could be with a small amount of quality ingredients and a little bit of technique. Not to mention the speed at which it comes together. My mom would be able to get home after work and whip this up in minutes. Tomato and egg was also the dish that made me love tomatoes, and I didn't like them that much growing up. It's extremely important to me to have these comfort foods in my figurative back pocket recipe book because I can whip them up when I'm feeling down. You don't need to memorize a complex recipe, and you can pretty much autopilot the entire process. Because you know the recipe well, the dish will come together fast, and you won't be tempted to whip out Grub Dash or Uber Mates. The therapeutic nature of cooking will also help clear your mind, and at the end, you get to eat something delicious that came from your own hard work. And who knows, as you get better and better at making your favorite comfort food, you may be curious to see what other dishes you can make at home. And when that time comes, I guarantee you will love to cook. As for me, when I'm feeling down, you can bet that when I have a few minutes to spare, I'll be in the kitchen, whipping up a plate of tomato and egg, happy that I got off my ass, happy for the memories it will bring, happy that I get to cook, and happy that I get to eat.